In 1945, there were practically no combat-ready units left in Germany, and the main support of the Third Reich became the militia. Since these improvised formations consisted largely of men with little formal military training, they needed a simple weapon that required no professional skills to operate. According to veterans' recollections, the primary threat to Soviet tanks from the German militia came from the Faustpatrone. There were several versions of this weapon, but most of the time they are grouped under one common name, regardless of design differences. The Faustpatrone was a single-use, rocket-propelled grenade launcher. Its warhead was a shape-charged grenade that left the tube at a speed of around 28 meters per second and was capable of penetrating up to 140 millimeters of armor. Because its effective range did not exceed 50 meters, the Faustpatrone was usually fired at tanks from ambush positions or in narrow urban streets. Loaded, it weighed about 2.8 kilograms, which meant that even an untrained fighter could easily carry more than one at a time. Interestingly, after firing, the launch tubes were not discarded. They were collected, sent back to factories, and reloaded again. The first militia formations in Germany began operating as early as late 1944. There was not much small arms left in the warehouses, but there were plenty of Faustpatronen. In fact, some of them were taken directly from regular army units. The reason for this was simple. In open terrain, where Wehrmacht divisions were fighting, a rocket grenade with such a short effective range, no more than 50 meters, was not very useful. But in urban environments, where a gunner could hide in a window or behind a corner, let the tank pass, and then strike it from the side, the effectiveness of the Faustpatrone increased dramatically. By the end of 1944, German engineers managed to assemble nearly 2 million launchers. In total, the Germans produced more than 9 million Faustpatronen during the war. The most successful Volkssturm grenadier was Ernst Tybersee. In the streets of Königsberg, he destroyed 5 Soviet tanks and was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross. Naturally, such an effective weapon could not go unnoticed by Soviet, American, and other military commanders. Many of them wrote about German anti-tank gunners in their memoirs. German Colonel Ike Mitteldorf recalled the following. Since January 1945, the effectiveness of tank fighting with the Faustpatrone began to decline sharply. This was due to the Russians introducing a new offensive tactic designed to counter tank hunters. During combat, tanks began to be covered by submachine gunners who advanced 100 meters ahead and to the sides of the armored vehicles, scanning and firing at potential ambush sites. At the same time, tanks themselves suppressed enemy positions from a distance, preventing them from hindering infantry movement. Under such conditions, close-quarters combat became impossible. Soviet officers, recognizing the effectiveness of the Faustpatrone, developed their own tactics against it. Exactly what the German colonel described. Soviet military commander Marshal Konyev described German anti-tank gunners this way. The Faustpatrone became an effective means of giving untrained and unprepared people a sense of confidence that they could actually do something. These Faust men fought to the end, more stubbornly than trained but already psychologically broken German soldiers. You have likely seen Soviet wartime footage showing tanks covered with extra metal plates or mesh screens. These acted as reliable protection against shape-charged warheads. Konyev described such improvised solutions in his memoirs. In order to reduce the number of destroyed tanks, we devised a simple but highly effective method. Additional sheets of metal or tin were hung over the armor. The grenade pierced this first layer easily but lost its reactive force and simply struck the armor or ricocheted off it, causing no damage. Soviet soldiers also quickly appreciated the usefulness of this German invention. As the Red Army advanced rapidly, capturing large amounts of equipment, many Faustpatronen ended up in Soviet hands. They were used both against German anti-tank gunners and against German armored vehicles. No matter what is said about the Faustpatrone, it was this weapon that became the prototype of the modern anti-tank systems now used on the battlefield to destroy armored vehicles. What do you think about the role of the Faustpatrone in the final months of the war? Share your thoughts in the comments, support the video with a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.